Okay, this next one is who we affectionately call Last Night Gus from Psych. So this was a swarm trap capture, sort of. They were a hot mess, couldn't get them to go in the box. Their queen was old and tattered. We assumed she couldn't fly, that's why they were on the ground and not in the box. Then we found that they had her balled up and they were trying to kill her. So I put her in a queen cage to try and give her a little reprieve. And then we didn't, then we released her, didn't see her for a little while, assumed they had finished the task of superseding her, saw a couple queen cells, got back in here on the last inspection, and, well, really 2 inspections ago, and lo and behold, I saw the little tattered wing queen again. So last time we were in them, it was moving them from their swarm box to this 5/5 configuration. So they were pretty much out of room. They were building comb off the bottom of the frames. So we took their 5 frames that they had in the swarm trap, checkerboarded it in with 5 foundations. Boy, I can't seem to keep this smoker lit today. So this is basically going to see how they're doing with the foundations that they were given, and see what we see about the queen here. Last time I was in them, it was quick, just trying to get them out of the swarm box and into this 5/5. So I didn't really take notes. I didn't video. I didn't do a thorough inspection. It was more about just moving them over. So, all right. So lots of capped honey up top here. A little bit of brood patch. A little bit of pollen or bee bread around that. This side, they've got a little bit of pollen on the bottom, but it is from here to here is kind of where there's a little pollen or empty cells. The rest of this is nectar or capped honey. Alright, this was a new frame we just gave them a few days ago. Starting to pull it there in the middle. Again, starting to pull the middle. This is a frame that they had in the swarm trap with them. That is all nectar. Tiny bit of pollen in the middle. They've started capping it at the top. You see the capped honey and nectar, tiny little patch of brood, and a dry queen cup that is no more. And then this is an outside foundation that we just gave them. Not much going on, as you would expect. Okay, well, we're starting a little bit of work on that foundation there in the middle. They did still have a little pollen patty on top. I'll probably move that down in between the brood boxes. Oxalic acid pad. Alright, so pull and comb. We got nectar in there. Nectar and some pollen. So typical outside frame with resources. This was a foundation just a few days ago. They're pulling hard on that, doing good there. Not really anything stored in it yet, just pulling comb. And they've started on that side as well. That's good to see. Alright, this next frame I think was the original drawn comb they had in the swarm trap, and they made it super fat. Man, I can barely even get it with my finger strength here. All right. So we got some brood in the middle. Got a queen cup here. I see a couple queen cells down there. This little cup yeah, that was dry, nothing in it. Those they're working on right now. So I bet those are viable. They've been itching to requeen, so I don't think I'm going to stop them. I think I'm going to let them do their thing. So I'll try and look in those queen cells at the bottom there in just a second. So there's the queen right there. Yeah, same old queen. She's still got some tattered wings. It's right there in the middle, working towards the bottom of the frame, coming off the brood. So, all right, let's turn this back around and look at those queen cells on the bottom. Yep, the two cells are charged. They are at the bottom of the frame, which makes me think they're a swarm cell, but I just think there's not a whole lot of space for her to lay, and she's not laying well, so I think I'll let them roll with it for now. If I was rearing queens yet, I would probably just use one of the queens from there. But so they're pulling that foundation, getting a head start on it. And then the last frame that came from their swarm box, mostly nectar and pollen. And then you got some capped there. So they're looking pretty good. Their queen's kind of been a hot mess, and they've got a couple queen cells, but that's not a surprise to me. They've been trying to move on from her since the day we found them. So, all right, oxalic acid pad going back. We'll put the pollen down here in between the boxes, and close them back up. So that's it for last night, guys.